In this video, we'll show you how to create a class and demonstrate some of the benefits of doing this. We're logged in. On the right-hand side of the navigation panel, I can use classes, then create class. I can input a name, then hit create class. Here I've been given a class code. There's two ways to add students to your class. Firstly, they can use the class code. I'll take a copy of that and show you what a student would see. So here I am on the Frankenstories homepage. I'm not logged in. Using the class code, I can sign up. Here I select student and then input the class code. The student can then input their name and a last initial. The last initial is an optional field. This is just so you can identify your student. The students can use an alias if they prefer. This field is never verified. Then hit create student account. The student has now been allocated a student code, which they can use to log into Frankenstories. There's no need for any password or email address. This student code will also appear in your class that you've created in case the student loses this login code. From here I'll show you the second option. So I'll go back to my teacher account. We're back in the teacher account, and here I can show you the second option for adding students to your class. And here we're doing it manually. So here I'll go to the Add Students Manually button, and I can input a list of names. I've got my names. I'll hit Add Students. We've been given student codes here. So now your students can log in using a student code. This means that their account has been created. I'll now show you what a student sees. As a student in this example, we're back on the home page. We're not logged in. So I've gone to log in on the top right. I go student login, and then I input that student code and log in. So this is the student profile that you created as the moderator. You can see that information here. So that's how a student can log in. When games have been created by you as the moderator, they'll appear in this screen. We'll go back to the teacher view and we can go and create a game from here. I'll go to games, create, generate a random prompt. I won't go through all the steps here, but you can see you can go to rounds and settings. We can give our game a name, then create game. Here we are to see one of the benefits of creating a class. If we don't create a class, we'll only be able to play casual games. Casual games are great for quick play. However, if you want to gain some of the benefits like being able to record a portfolio of your class and being able to identify each student during a game, then assigning to a class is beneficial. We can assign to a class, we can assign to the whole class, or we can divide the class into smaller teams. For example, we split our class in half. We can see there's been two teams created and they can play games simultaneously. You can rename the team names here. It's a free text field. You could also remove a user if a student is away from the class for any reason, or you can move the students between the teams. Another option is for us to assign homework. Homework games are individual games that the students start themselves after you have assigned them to them. I'll let you experiment with those. For now, we'll assign to a class, and we'll assign to the whole class. Click through the game that's been created. And here we are in the game lobby. You can see the student codes. Some teachers have said that they print out the student codes and post them up in the classroom somewhere in case the students lose those numbers. Let's see what the student sees. So we'll go back to our student profile. Here we are. We can see that the test game has appeared in the student's profile. We'll go back to the teacher profile. And we're back in the teacher profile. Here's a good time to show you one of the other benefits of creating a class. We can see the student has now logged in, and further you can see the name. On the top is the alias name, which is automatically allocated to the student when we have alias names switched on, which it is on by default. And on the bottom we can see the student's real name that you created when you created the class. During the game, the students will only ever see each other's alias name. However, you as the moderator will see both the alias name and the real name, which is helpful for identifying which student wrote which snippet. If you're playing a casual game, even the moderator will only see the alias name. Now I'll show you a further benefit of creating a class and having your students log in when they're playing Frankenstories games. Here we are in a profile where there's a lot of classes being created and a lot of games played. We'll go up to the top right in classes, and you can see there's a few classes here. I'll go into one of those. What we have here is the information collected automatically when you play class games and your students are logged in. You can see we could take actions here like adding students, but we can also do things like reviewing reports from previous games. So this will keep a record of all the games you've created and played as a class. So you can go back and review any of your students' work, even demonstrating progression over time. You can also look at the class portfolio. You can see all the games you've been playing. You can even review the work of a single student. For example, I'll click into one student. Here you can see the games played by that student and some key snippets. So there we are. That's how to set up a class and also demonstrating some of the key benefits of creating a class.